Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma friends, we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone sit down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katame tayo dhamma pahatabba tisso tanhati ti. Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, we were proceeding along the topic of tanha, and along the topic itself, it is being divided into 3 facets: kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Kama tanha has been translated as the sensuous pleasure or worldly pleasure, desire for the worldly pleasure. And bhava tanha is kind of a desire for the existence based upon your falsified idea of personality. And as far as you have a wrong notion of personality, it immediately comes the existence or the maintenance. It's an eternal nature. So you have this tanha, and underneath there is a vibhava tanha, the kind of love for annihilation also. That is not the annihilation what we are talking about as the nibbana or the emancipation, but kind of as far as the matter, as far as the love or craving for the existence is there is a kind of a shadow, non-existence, like matter and antimatter. Each and everything on the earth, we have the shadow. So likewise, bhavatanha is having vibhavatanha. The vibhavatanha is very difficult to understand unless otherwise you understand the kamatanha and bhavatanha. So earlier we took an effort to understand this kamatanha, bhavatanha, vibhavatanha in terms of feelings, the pleasure principle through this materialistic pleasure. And then bhavatanha is a desire for jhanic experience with an object as such, a rupa, that means a material object that's called rupa raga or rupa loka or rupa jhana. And when you further, it gives rise to or give way to arupa or subtle matter or immaterial kind of thing, or absence of the object that you have taken, and there is a kind of a feeling. On the yesterday we started about this Pottapada Sutta. It is pertaining to or related to perception. We can understand kama tanha with related to our body or with related to our senses. The craving for seeing shapes and colors, the craving for hearing different sounds, and the craving for smells, craving for taste to satisfy the taste buds, and the craving for luxuries, different things. And that is being defined in this Pottapada Sutta, Olarika Attapatilaga. It is something related to your corporeal body. And if you consider the whole total pleasure principle is nothing but indicated by your body. The whole world you perceive with the help of this, the sensitivity of the eye, ear, nose, tongue and the body. So therefore, instead of pursuit of the worldly pleasure, worldly material and materiality, if you study your body itself, what is the sensitive organ the tentacles. And they sometimes get the pleasure, of course, with suitable colors and the suitable shapes. And the ear may be sometimes happy with the lovely music, or bird sounds, or whatever or your lovers, or your boyfriends or girlfriends' voice. And then the smell, and the tongue, the taste, and the tactile sensation of the body. And sometimes you may understand, even without the external stimuli, there are some other unknown area in our senses. And that, the first and foremost, understanding the senses as a pleasure giver, as the tool for the pleasure principle, you develop kind of a self-love and self-indulgence, or indulgence of your faculties. And there, if you can take the body as the pivotal point, body as the tentacles, body as the receptacles, and you can understand the body is an enormous product, we can say creation, that through which only we can have this kama tanha. So therefore, if you can take the body as an object of meditation, in Pali it's called Kayanupassana, you can see how it is perceiving the different pain and the pleasure. And still you may fail to understand it, perceived through the faculty called perception. Pleasure is perceived as a pleasurable, and the pain is not pleasurable, and therefore that together with the pain, pleasure, and no pain, no pleasure, kind of a three separation, the three labels, it is your body itself, yes, but the pain, pleasure itself, yes, but this perception, you can understand this. Therefore, each and every tanha, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, also three labels and three ways you can perceive it. And therefore, if you are to observe particular object or its hedonic part, its pleasure and the pleasure and pain side, through the lens of perception, then you can see the pain is starting as pleasure is starting as a pleasant and pleasurable and end up with pain. And the changing of this perception is universal. Whether you are a male or female, whether you meditate or not, that is happening. So therefore, when and where you try to observe each and every stimuli, the sensitive thing, objects, there's a kind of a labeling. There's a kind of a cognition and then recognition. And the cognition part is what we call the teenagers. They cognize everything and they put all the information and decode and put in your memory and say this is pleasure, this is pain, and this internal hard disk is getting completely filled, and anything come later, you recognize according to your past, your values, likings and dislikings, and your memory, and your cultural values, your karmic forces, or your the habits, all the kind of is measuring it, and therefore your pleasure is not exactly labeled as your neighbor's pleasure. They have their own values. So therefore, when and where someone is attentive to one's own body, can understand the relationship with this external stimuli, is pain and pleasure is one aspect, and the perception was playing a big role. But we never stop at that level and understand what is the role of the perception. But we can understand everything going through the body, so-called body, or different organs as such. And then when you focus your attention not to the external stimuli, how your body react, perceive, cognize, recognize, then you have to understand these have 5 faculties, the seeing and eye, the noise and sounds and the ear, the smells and the nose, taste and the tongue, tactile sensation with your sensitivity, and the Dhamma aspects with the mind. When all 5, I will put it this way, when as far as you think that all the 6 are working at a time, so much so you are bewildered with your egotistic idea. Your self come into being thinking that all the 6 are working. But when and where you are to note, when the seeing happens, the hearing is not taking place. When the seeing happens, avenue to your, or visual objects avenue to your eye, and if you happen to note when and where you become a seer, it will take time, but later you will understand at that time, your other faculties are not utterly working, and one donkey at a time. That very understanding indicate it's a series of action happening in and appear like it's 6 lines are working, but not actually. One line at a time. Just like a TV having 6 channels, with a single TV you can't look into 2 channels. As far as you select one channel, you are utterly pushing off, negating, rejecting other 5. And who is selecting which channel is the one we have not discussed, that is the sankhara, or it is the volitional activity, willful activity, whatever may be. Once you selected, your mind is utterly avenued face to face with that channel, and you perceive details about that particular channel, basically the external stimuli. So when and where, if you are to observe the faculty of eye, instruction says, when and where you see an object, I am giving an example, you note that particular object as a tree or a woman or a male or whatever it may be, and you see the shape and the color of the object. That is the starting point. So when you are noting, you note the object. And after long time only, you will understand that object, that color and the shape, never makes stimulation in your eardrum. It never makes any stimulation in your nose. It never makes any stimulation in your tongue or body. It is only can stimulate your eye. So after long noting, seeing, you can note, after noting the object, you can see seeing. Now you come to the edge of your body, the eye sensitivity. At that time, whenever seeing happened, no smelling, no touching, no hearing, and this happened, now you are not in the stimuli, but where the sensitive, eye sensitivity happened, after long noting only you can see seeing. When and where you understand seeing, you know it is with the eye faculty of eye, and then the moment the consciousness take part, make a love affair with this seeing, it is no more available for the eye, ear, no more available to the ear, nose, tongue, body, nothing. So consciousness is utterly we call eye conscious. Eye consciousness. Whenever consciousness becomes eye consciousness, you are utterly dumb. You note it. You can't perceive anything because you are attracted with kama tanha to the thing you see. It is domineering. Not only you taken for a ride on the object that you see, but it is a capitalistic system. It kills all the sound waves at that time. It kills all the smelling stimuli, or taste, or bodily tactile sensation. They be null and void. You are already enlightened regarding them. As far as you know now, your eye is fully stimulated and you are attracted to the eye. Imagine at that time, whatever the sounds come and strike on your eye, you are utterly arahant. No reaction. Whatever the stimulation comes to your nose, you are already enlightened. Whatever the stimulation come and stimulate your tongue, maybe saliva or whatever may be, you are enlightened. The body never see anything because you are fully attracted to the eye. Because consciousness is one thing at a time and it's become eye conscious. So there you can see one understanding. I am now engaged in seeing. That understanding make the yogi very unhappy, thinking for example, if you are in walking meditation, seeing happens means mind distracted. You are bewildered, gone. And once if you can make sure, yes, I am supposed to walk, but my mind is, I am seeing. At the same time, if you can understand, seeing means all the other faculties are completely cut off. So all the signals come into other faculties become null and void. And therefore, understanding seeing as one faculty is giving a theoretical support or deductive knowledge if you have. When it is coming, it is suppressing all the other. So nothing to meditate upon them. They are not creating any suffering. They are nothing to note, nothing to understand. Only the seeing that you have to understand. Even then, uninstructed yogis, they feel disheartened. They feel upset thinking my mind is jumping to seeing. Of course it is something off the track, eccentric. But that you have to prove then and there, red-handed, when you are utterly seeing, all the other faculties are not working. And there you can see from seeing to hearing, jumping happen. Hearing to nose or thing happen. Who decides? What agenda? No one is aware what makes you become from seer to the hearer. That been happening because you are so engaged in what you are observing rather than understanding this machine. And when you are hearing, you are utterly engaged, you have failed to understand, you lost seeing and no traces. Now only you hear. So likewise it's quickly changing, and there the swiftness is given an example with the mad monkey jumping from one branch to the other without calculating and looking at it. Just jumping. So likewise when it is happening, you understand unless otherwise you have a pivotal point, unless otherwise you have a benchmark, unless otherwise you have a reference point, unless otherwise you have an object of meditation, you can't measure how it is running. That is why the Buddha says, take the body as your reference point, pivotal point, object of meditation, and when and where possible keep in the body and see how the monkey is jumping. Never it for anyone's satisfaction. Because you always expect not a monkey, you may expect a monk instead. No. It's utter monkey. So you have to understand your datum line. Datum line is body. When and where possible, ask the monkey to come, be at home, be at your body. And you can see jumping. So when it is happening, you will get disheartened thinking that how can keep the mind for 2 split seconds into this neutral object, the body tactile sensation. So early part of your meditation is utter desperation. Because keeping on one object Our parents never taught us. Keeping in one object, not a single classroom on the earth. Everyone is distracting us for that subject, this subject, and ultimately you desperately ultimately become a burden. So when the teacher is coming and telling, just try to keep it neutral, verifiable, internal object to see. And when and where you get disheartened and complaining, I can't keep 2 seconds in a breath, or I can't keep 2 minutes in my body, I can't keep few steps there, that indicates you are learning, utterly learning, maybe negative, but your mindfulness is intact. So you feel irritated. That irritation is a clear indication mindfulness is working. And you can see how quickly mind is changing. So therefore, in order not to give that kind of negativity, Buddha says, this olarika attapatilabha, your body, now it appears like a unruly, not according to your agenda, it is completely disobedient. But it's a human body. Human body is, according to the Buddhist teaching, due to your past good karma. So therefore consider it as a patilabha. Body is a patilabha, it is something endowment. It's a gift. And if you focus the attention, you see 6 channels are there, nothing controllable. And now only you know, you hate that knowledge. Now only you know, you hate that knowledge. Imagine the day you are going to appreciate due to my research, due to my repetitive application, due to my investment only now I know, this monkey is mad, running. But actually monkey mind is, when you compare your mind is somewhat evolved. Monkey mind is the epithet, but you are human mind. So you ultimately commit suicide thinking the monkey mind. But you have to understand this understanding is a must. This notion is a must. Consider this as the healthy ego. This is my body. Due to my past good karma, I earned this body, human body. And it is this changing from one object to other, one faculty to the other is efficiency. It will become negative when and where you try to keep object with one channel. And there only you find its unruly nature. But very understanding that is not something to be disheartened. Understanding this unruly nature, non-governability, that without any agenda, it is nothing to dishearten. But I have been in this meditation world for 40 years. I have never found even a single person can appreciate it, that understanding this unruly nature is a fact. Being a human, it's a fact. But that is why when and where body, mind is with your body, you are irritated. You are fault-finding. You find self-criticism. And you find things are not working properly, that is why I can't keep in my body. So when and where other people are calm and quiet, when the world is flat, when everything is okay, I will be able to understand. There you expect mind to be without shaking, just like a statue to keep. That is not the case. Now you understand, more and more apply, the olarika attapatilabha, our body, it is gross. It is, only yogis can understand, this is the pivotal point. This is the benchmark. This is the object of meditation, but you can see how it is jumping. Now compare it with the non-meditator. Compare it before you came to know about mindfulness, where it was. No data. No bookkeeping, no datum line. So with compared to that, hardly one can understand it's a noble quest. Hardly one can say this is an endowment, it's a gift. You understand this. And this understanding, if you can take it as a reason to be glad, that is what they call radical reflection. This is a reason to be glad. Otherwise, no go. You can understand that because your karma tanha never allow mind to be on this particular object for a split second, 2 split seconds. Not only that, when it is happening, you become discouraged. Then your failure, your research is a failure right from the beginning. Imagine the Buddha can manage to give you, yes, darling, that is it happened, but it is not only for you, it is for everyone, but it is not stopping your research. Keep on understanding. Yes, this olarika attapadlabha, love this body, when and where possible, keep it with, yes, when it's going seeing, notice as seeing. When it's hearing, notice as hearing. But it won't make much permanent damage. When and where possible, you can bring back to the body. And only the people, those who do this experiment with gladness, it won't take much hours. Only 3 breaths time, the body will calm down. Only 3 breaths, body calm down, mind calm down. How many days, how many retreats, how many lifespans will it take you to take this monkey mind as a norm, monkey mind as a nature, monkey mind is a humanity, not to grudge, not to complain, not to assume, and accept it. Once accepted, meditation is a hobby, soon you sit, okay, mind is running, no problem. When and where possible, I try to keep it in my body. As far as you are not worrying about jumping, naturally, monkey will come back home. And there you find 2-3 breaths time, calming down happen. Now where is the monkey? Now monkey is abiding on the tactile sensation of your body. That is in Pali language called rupa, corporeality, or something gross. Something 3-dimensional, gross thing. So now mind is not going for seeing, hearing, touching kind of thing. Instead, it takes on the breath or rising and falling. When you are walking left leg and right leg, it knows this is my at-home feeling. When and where mind come at home, this is at-home feeling, otherwise you know what happens. Before you start mindfulness practice, or even your so-called failure in the mindfulness practice, mind is scattered. Now, imagine it is with your preparation and with your effort, and you know the art, how to keep the mind consecutively in one particular object, that is called Rupa Loka. It is not multivarious now, still it is in Rupa, that is air of earth element is happening, and when and where your mind is acquainted with this one aspect of your 6 faculties, that means you are not let the mind to go for varietal entertainment, take the most distracting, most lustful, most delightful thing. So success of that story is the boredom. Success of that story is the monotony. Success of that story is the fearfulness. Success of that story is the unknown. And you feel like uncomfortable. Because now mind is bounded to a known object. So therefore when and where happen, there may be, it's due to your restraint. When and where it is abiding by that, the uncertainty, doubts and everything can happen. So, if you know the art, never mind, keep the mind as long as possible with this matter, with this object of meditation, with this pivotal point, with this benchmark, with this your object of meditation, and more you practice, more you gain. To the amount you apply your mind, or to the amount the energy you apply, you can understand, but not disheartening about going out, not disheartening about mishaps. But slowly you can see, mind can live with this manomaya situation. That means mind is abiding by matter, and it is the Sabbanga Pachanga Samangi. So you know, it was earlier roaming everywhere. Now it is abiding by this body, and you have the mental configuration. The body is like a pyramid in sitting, or like an anthill. You feel it. You get the notion, you get the sanya, it is there. And out of that you saw, this is the point mind is associating, tip of the nose, or rising and falling in the middle of the, over here the navel place, or some other stiffness, tension, movements, that particular place indicating it is within the body. So this rupa indicate mind or your body shadow is there, or its image is there, but it is not so gross as what you see your naked eye. So now you can go there. It is, you are now in the manomaya loka. That is what you call absorption, if I am to use the technical term. You can be there without get absorbed. We can be there fully with absorption. Fully absorption is known as samatha jhana. It is like the magnet is pulled into the, piece of iron is pulled into the magnet. But there you can understand within the range of magnet, but not attached. It is called periphery. That is also there. So in vipassana, usually not fully absorbed, but absorbed like. It associates the object. So this is also kind of equilibrium. When compared to your gross body, now you perceive your body, but you are not perceiving to touch or see. But it is becoming soft, it becoming subtle, parallel to your grossness of the breath. At the beginning, breath is gross, and when the breath becomes subtle, medium or subtle, accordingly the body also becomes subtle. And that is first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. If I am to use the jhana as a technical term, the subtlety reduces. Becomes subtle and subtle, ultimately breath becomes unperceivable. Or it go beyond the sanya level. And there you feel, even if at all you feel the body, the Buddha gives the example, it is something like covered with the white cloth. And if you're going to think about the body, your jhana will be disturbed. So you can only dwell upon that. Only you can get absorbed. And even the breath is not there, but if you're going to go and inquire about that, breath will appear, jhana will be disturbed. So you have to master it. You have to season it. And ultimately you learn or you teach your brain, the consciousness, you are not now in sense organs or sense pleasure. Now you used to be in an object, but that object also ceases to exist. This is an improvement. This is a progress in your pratipada. It's a less and less amount of defilement. So how to facilitate it? How to give conducive conditions? How to maintain it? Your strategies you use to earn your luxury, your skillfulness, your profession, your all the business and everything, utterly useless in this effort. Because now it is reducing, disappearing. And how to facilitate disappearing, not the accumulation, not the bank account, not your fame, not your gain, nothing. So therefore, when and where someone is facilitating or mastering this disappearing part, all the other, even the memories regarding your lovely people, your property and everything, make you eccentric, and you are no more in the jhanic absorption. Everything, even kama sanya, not only the kama sanya also become poisonous. So you have to do away. And think about a person, He's very successful in this materialistic world. And he come and sit. And while meditating, he take one particular object, he is successful. And now object is disappearing. And the teacher is telling that it must be your skill. Let it wane it off, dwindle it off, disappear. Let the gross breath become middle and middle become subtle. And now what kind of skill he can take from your day-to-day life? Nothing. All the day-to-day life, business and activity and all the kind of things become negative here. But still, that's a part and parcel of your capacity in your mind. You have never explored into that. The Buddha says in the Anija-Sappaya Sutta, as well as in the Anguttara Nikaya, when the object is gross, defilement is gross. When the object is medium, defilement is medium. When the object becomes very subtle, now defilement more subtle. So these are the guidelines, he says. So what to do, what to foster, what to facilitate it. So that knowledge is in your neurobics, but you never use, because throughout the world you are accumulating. Accumulating property, accumulating the this and that and lovable thing and visual objects and sounds and the smells and the taste and the luxuries. But now, more and more you far away from these bloody things, the mind is contented. Mind is more pure. Mind is more closer to the oasis than the desert. So this knowledge, when it happens, the Chittata Sariputta says, when this research you do for luxury, and you do research to get the more and more subtle object, they are so far apart. As far as you are skillfully dwindling it off or facilitating, you are a completely different person. If you are thinking even about your household life, you lose your balance. You become eccentric. So therefore, as far as in the Rupa Loka, you are completely cut off from the Kama Loka. So therefore, person live and live in the Kama Loka, can't think about that. But if you can apply the mindfulness, you can go there. When you go there, you are a completely different person, different set of perception. It's called Manomaya Attapatilava. It is also endowment even if you as a child. But you have to practice it. When you are practicing only, when you are successful only, you can go there. So that is a separate world. To make it more sensible, if you die at that time, if you are to end your life, you will go to the corresponding abode that is called Devaloka Brahmaloka. That when you go to Devaloka Brahmaloka, if you come and look at your mother, you will drop. Because over there you have to have a kind of a perception. If you wish to dwell upon that, thinking about this sexy world or sensuous world, you are deprived of your world. So they will never come back. If they know, something like that, when you are in a jhanic experience, can you remember song? Can you remember your mother, father? No, they are become poisonous. So likewise, when they go to that corresponding abode, if they wish to be there, they will never look at your face. Because you are always with sensuality and sexuality, so therefore they will never come. The Buddha says, the 14 miles or 16 miles distance they never come. They never look at it. Because they wanted to protect their already earned abode. So exactly you, whenever your mind gets absorbed, if you wish to master it, you have to forget about the shades and memories about your household life. You love dear and near ones. So imagine there's a kind of a renunciation. It is not the renunciation from house to the temple or house to the forest. But within the forest, now you get the Chitta Viveka. And you know this is an endowment, this is one of my mind setup. But if I wish to live there, if I wish to master it, you must do away, at least in this particular time. And that renunciation is called renouncing from bhava tanha. Not the kama tanha. You make kama tanha renounce, that is why you come here. Forget about all the movable and unmovable things and come here. But even then, if you are thinking about the household, you are partly in kama tanha and bhava tanha. When and where you absorb, now only you are totally out of kama tanha, and now not kama tanha, kama sanya also gone, and you know where you are dwelling. It is a matter, but it's so very subtle. It's gone to the last drop, at the tail end, and you know where it is, where you are dwelling. And if you wish to be there, master there, season it, you have to do other way around. You have to keep all the sensuous thing at bay. And that skill is you have. It is not the Buddha. It is not theory. You are having, but you never mastered it. You never used it. But otherwise, human being means, in this packet of human being, this is also there. Once you mastered, you can go. Now shall we go forward? Once you completely give up, go to the unperceivable level of your object, and still you are mindful, that means you are going to the subtle matter or no matter. And there you understand Akasananchayatana, huge space, limitless space. But if you have any idea, notion about your sensuous world or this Rupa Loka, you feel fearful, you feel lost, you feel outcasted, you feel no clue. So that is the point. When it is going there, you withdraw so fast, you feel known devil is better than unknown. So you come back, jumping from the frying pan to the hot plate. So imagine if you have been utterly instructed and so sharp, when it's disappearing, when it's dwindling, understand it's an endowment. It is because of your practice it is happening, and you are going to the less and less defiled situation. How much, how far can I go to the completely into the space? That's the opposite of materiality. Patavi Apo Tejo Vayo is working in the space. Now you do away with Patavi Apo Tejo Vayo manifestation and see the volume where absence of matter. One example given I read in one book. Imagine no one is in its house, in this hall, no furniture, it's utterly empty. And we are hiring it for a wedding. And it is full of floating balloons. So when you are coming to the hall, you see a lot of balloons, hydrogen, and it is floating. And if you ask, you will say, I see balloons. With no people, no furniture, balloons. And imagine 3 days' time, all the balloons are deflated and drop. And whole is empty. Can you look at and say, you see emptiness? Never you report. When the balloons are floating, you can see balloons, but you never see the emptiness in between two balloons. Now no more balloons, and now you can't see emptiness. Because our senses never record emptiness. It's a negative. It's a unauspicious. It's a bad omen. So therefore now once the balloon gone, now you are invited to see this is what you call emptiness. Not that emptiness is not available while the balloons are there. But you are not, your mind never adverted unless otherwise given the proper instructions and led you away from kama tanha, away from bhava tanha, then not you can understand, you can focus with respect to the matter, the antimatter, the space, the akasa. Akasa is known as ajata akasa. Ajata means there is no knots, there is no frustration, there is no tension. You can't twist. You can twist balloons, but you can't twist space. So therefore, how much you like knots, how much you like balloons, how much you like twist. That is why our objects, our eye can hit the object and say, it's a house full of balloons, but when the balloons are not there, you go and say what to say, there's nothing. Did you see emptiness? What? Never. So this is the way the Buddha is leading you. Give an object to get rid of the karma tanha and let that object also disappear and don't give up. Just see how you can perceive it, and not only, this terminology is Buddhist, but the Buddha borrowed it from the traditional practice at that time, akasananja, the limitless space, no objects, just like you look at the sky. And when it's happening, you, not that it is not available, but you feel cornered, you feel outcasted, you feel lack of anything. It is negative because your whole life you are accumulating. You are accumulating properties. Now you are being directed to see and be happy, be glad with nothingness. When this nothingness happens, you may understand in between in-breath and out-breath, always nothingness is there. You never see. Once you experience the nothingness, it is micro level. At the end of the out-breath and beginning of the in-breath, always nothing. That is what the Buddha says. The tanha means it never allow you to see the nothingness. So soon after the end of the out-breath, you are waiting for the in-breath to happen, so you miss the bus. So that is the purpose of tanha. Tanha is tying the known to ends without let you understand the nothingness there. So one day you done away with all, you have nowhere to go, you are well instructed, go prepared, and if you are to see nothingness, in between two breaths, always there, in between two sounds, always there, in between two thoughts, it's always there, in between two pieces of, two pecks of pains, pleasure, it's always there. And one day you will understand nothingness, the emptiness is more than 95%. Whatever the matter you call you is less than 5%, it's insignificant, and that is the point you see, everything is but agglomeration between two particles, huge space. Just like a piece of chalk. It is very crumbled. It is very fragile. But you are not happy to see it. You think because I am not fragile, I am not a crumble, I myself is so and so. So from this viewpoint, if you look at the world, you hold the lasting things. You hold only permanent things. So there should have a permanent address, permanent name, permanent bank number, permanent photo, everything you fix it, and if you ask who you are, you will show your card. And name is there, address is there, telephone number is there, bank number is there, license is there, face is there, this is me. You see how much the civilization misled you? And if you're uncivilized, you're bad the fellow, they can't show you the card. You bloody fellows completely attributed to this so-called permanent thing, and you are making the world not to die. The world must be completely the economic formulas, political strategies. They are all but bubbles. So if you see between the space, even the bubble bursts, no problem, you know, space is there. So it is a kind of alternative to the Kamaloka and Rupaloka. And when the day you start to dwell in this Arupa, of course you will learn and you will specialize and you will delimit it in the meditation. But later, when you try to apply this meditation technique in walking, when in brushing teeth, and when you are washing dishes, and everywhere you find things are agglomerated. It is layers are there. In between always gaps are there. There you find when and where you to see gaps, your appreciation to the matter becoming evolved. So far your whole egotistic idea was with matter. Now soon you introduce, your ego has quite another shade, another perception. That perception on the arupa or subtle matter, the moment you appreciate it, how that mind can appreciate karma or sense pleasure, how that kind of a mind appreciate this rupa. So therefore it appear like arupa is a hate to the karma and hate to the rupa. It's working always in hate base. You are doing away with karma, doing away with rupa, then only you can go there. So therefore, karma bhava, rupa bhava appear like a desire. Arupa bhava appear like a love for discontinuation, love for non-existence, love for the space. So it become hate. So perversion from this karma bhava, bhava tanha to vibhava tanha, it is happening so quickly. And if you can't separate it out, that is what we call the schizophrenia. Within you, all the people, all the things are available. So, some research they have done psychologically, a lady, she complains some abnormal things. And when she cook food, and huge amount of sand, handful of sand you can find next time on the rice pot. And she write to husband, telling, I am a terrible problem, because that people are bhuta dosa and this and that and happening, and all of a sudden shouting happens, all of the firing happens, this kind. And so if someone is making a research, the person says she is at one mode cooking food, other mode she is destroying the already cooked food. The same person shifting quickly because she is utterly in desperation, husband is out. She never believed she is the very person put sand. She is complaining, this is one person. And she is doing exactly the opposite, she is another person. So how to convince? So within yourself, this death instinct is always there. According to the Freudian terminology. And this nihilism is there. So once you discriminate it, once you delimit them and understand, you see tanha ultimately go back to hate. Tanha is desire. And when it's become a perverted, it's hate. So whatever you love, indicate there is a hate. So therefore it says that karuna is compassion. The hate can pervert you and appear like karuna. That is how the euthanasia happens. You're a very loud person and he is dying. You can, to a certain extent, you can look at it. And you ask the doctor to finish the fellow. You are the very person. You can see, you can look at it. If it's the person in the next bed, no problem. He was lingering and he was at the dying, no problem. But you can't. Because that is yours. So this perversion and metta, when you love, the sexual perversion can happen. Karuna, hatred can happen. So each and every emotion, there is a shadow behind. Without knowing that, if you say karuna is utterly good, then karuna must lead to nibbana. Karuna cannot lead to nibbana. Because the perverted hate is there. So therefore, Venerable Sariputta says, if you have vihesa, if you worry about someone, you are disqualified to make compassion to that particular person. Karuna is completely free of vihesa. You cannot feel any kind of a disturbed feeling about the suffering person. If it is so, you are not qualified to help him. Your karuna must be free of vihesa. Metta must be free of lust. So how the hell you understand why people are so much of happy with loving kindness? Because it's a perverted sex is behind. That's why loving kind of meditation, when you teach, it says don't pervert metta to the opposite sex. You must, if you are a male, at the early part you must not take female as an object. Unless otherwise metta come up to a certain level. So each and every the so-called good emotion, that's called vanchanika dhamma, or perversions. So within yourself, in Sinhala we call kapanda beriyata imbino. That is the way it happens, swift. Quickly, the lovable thing become a hateful thing. That is how the marriage and the divorce. So close. You can't divorce unmarried people. Only you can divorce your spouse. Because you married. And that thing, how can one explain through tanha? That is the way Buddha is teaching. So therefore he says the vibhava tanha case is quite a perversion. So it is called vanchanika dhamma. So when Avalokahamduro, he gave some example for you to think about. For example, when and where you are in a jhanic absorption, or you are managed to keep the object vivid and it is becoming successful, at a time you find there's no much of pain, there's no much of sounds, there's no much of thoughts, and you are calm and quiet on the object of your meditation. Then immediately you feel like, how about passing this good message to my mother? How about passing this good message to my father? How about give this good message to my close relatives? So when it happens, you are no more in the object of meditation, you keep on storytelling, fabrication. Think about the kind of a compassion to your dear and near ones. And likewise, 6 things, normal in the world, it is good. Normal in the ethical value, it is good. But the way you are now proceeding, this is the way perverted form come and make you eccentric. So if someone is going to say, when you come to the meditation, give up your old cell phones and don't write letters, you feel irritated. What's wrong with the telephone? What is wrong with the letter? Because you are communicating with your mother and father and all the kind of thing. And they know how to infuse you. So therefore they is cut off. Because that already earned thing, you don't know how to protect. You don't know how to secure it. So that normal loving kindness or normal compassion is a distraction here. And if you think, now I am a meditator, so I must learn yoga, it's a holistic food and holistic thing. Because that I must think about, I have already diabetes, I have already this, the cholesterol and kind of thing, now I will start. So your meditation stop there and you start thinking about the holistic food and holistic people and holistic yoga and all the kind of thing. You miss the bus. And 6 things, it will take long time, but it's a very interesting story. And you will think, in future, I will never get blamed. I will be blemishless. I will work completely, 100%, theoretical maximum, the Samaritan. And moment you're going to think about, you are no more with your object. The 6 points are there. Usually it is beneficial, but it is unbecoming to a yogi. So when the teacher is telling, don't entertain this kind of things, it's none of your business, specifically when you are in a retreat. Some people think, specifically Sri Lanka, specifically the whole crop. This is when you come to the Nissarana, no Buddha Puja, no drums music, no incense sticks, no 6 colors flags, no people. So where are the merits? What kind of a merit that you are sitting and just waiting and there are also nothing, everything is disappearing. So at home I would have at least go to and do some Buddha Puja morning and the evening at least. And I would have done some chanting. Oh, I would have gone a pilgrim. So it is tangible merits. But here, you may not be doing it, but definitely you may be thinking about that. So in the retreat it says, don't entertain daydreaming, fantasizing. You will say, no, I am not fantasizing, I am thinking about going a trip, Anuradhapura. So it is not bad, it is Buddhist. I am thinking about accumulating people and only 15 and get a bus only for the 15 and it will be economical. So you keep on doing all the 6 thoughts. Usually it is not bad, ethical sense. But as a yogi, they are carcinogenic. So if I am to tell, if someone is to tell, definitely you will accuse it is going against the Buddhism. But I can say, only Buddhists can talk like that. All the other places you will be killed. Other isms are so powerful, even the Buddhism. So therefore you have to understand, when the mind is away from the Kama Tanha, it will hold into the next healthy ego, Bhava Tanha, your object of meditation. When that is also gone, Vibhava Tanha. And when Vibhava Tanha happens, so the Buddha says, it is arupi, manomiyo, sanyamayo. Now the world is utterly perception. Appearing is a perception, disappearing is a perception. So nothing substantial. So when you come up to that level, even the object of meditation is a distraction. Even the sexual and sensual objects are distraction. So as far as you are in the sensuous sphere, you can't think and you can't figure it out, the Rupa Loka. As far as you are in the Arupa Loka, you can't think and meddle with the Kama Loka and Bhava Loka, Rupa Loka. So Chittata Sariputta very clearly indicate, Bhante, the way I understand, as far as I am in my body, or give up the household pleasure, if I am going to think about being in the body, about your loved one and everything, you are losing this. As far as you are living with the primary object, if you are going to think about the future, the past, the loved one, everything, you are losing it. Once you are given, completely done away with your object of meditation, when you are in the emptiness, if you are going to expect your object of meditation, that is also become a repercussion. That's also become a perversion. That's also become a turbulent. So more and more you go there, you become a different person as far as the perception is concerned. But all are in the packet. When you get the humanness, when you are born, all are there. But in our past lives, we have not recognized them, delimited them, understood them. Now our duty is to understand, and when we understand it, they are perception levels, they are sanyamaya. And ultimately you find world is nothing but a sanya. Even from that point of view, if you look at the other world, when you are open with all the senses, it's sanya. So therefore, in the computer world, anything you can create by twisting your sanya. That is what you call advertisements. They are manipulators. They can make you, so much so, if you look at the television and if you get the attack of this advertisement, when you go to the supermarket, you don't know why you select that product. You bring it to your bag and bring it home and see, it is no utility value. But the suggestion inbuilt into you through the advertisement, when you go there, naturally you buy it. And when you come home, you see there is no utility value. So that is how Sanyame, so therefore Buddha says, your mind is a magician, it can make anything. As far as you are in the Kama-tanha, you can't think about Bhava-tanha. As far as you are in the Bhava-tanha, you can't think about the Kama-tanha or Vibhava-tanha. Likewise, exclusively different, the Buddha says, as far as the cow is there, when you strip milk comes from the cow. And when this milk become congested, we call curd, we never call milk. And when you take the butter, we never call it milk, it's a butter. And then ghee. Likewise, the same thing, changing one to the other. Likewise, as far as you are in Kama Loka, you are a Kama Tanha. When you come to the Rupa Loka, you have Bhava Tanha. When you come to the Arupa Loka, you have Vibhava Tanha. One thing is refiner than the other. And ultimately you get 3 steps, according to the Pottapada, 3 healthy ego levels in order to get the gross pushed off. Replace the gross one with the subtle, and subtle with the subtlest. And likewise it is going, so therefore you have to love your body, even though it is disturbing, even it is painful. You have to love your object of meditation, even it is not tasty, breath is not palatable, breath is not tasty, that you have to love, and then you have to see disappearance. So this is the way one replaces the other, or gross replaces the subtle, subtle replaces the subtlest, and when it is going there, you can see it is as if you imagine a mind as a globe, and you are going deep, deep, deep into the center. Wherever you start, the outer surface is very big, whatever it may be, when you go there, everyone, when you come to the center, exactly the same. So therefore, when you are in meditation, within a sitting meditation, you may be going from one to the other. In Samatha meditation, you master it by determination, do this and that like. But in the Vipassana meditation, you may go there, but they are so exclusive. When and where you go to the object and dwell, you can't think about the sensuous pleasure. It's out. When and where that object disappeared, and you can't think about any material because you are in the infinite space. So likewise, how quickly you can adopt into that. When you are a child, young, very easily you can adopt into that. But when you become old age, the narrowed view, for the Kama Loka person, Rupa Loka appear like a threat. Rupa Loka person, Arupa Loka appear like a threat. They think it is not one thing change into the other, one thing evolve into the other, one thing metamorphosize into the other. Instead you see, if this is there, this cannot be. This is there, this cannot be, because you are not looking at the phenomena from the impermanent notion. Utterly permanent, so therefore you expect this has to happen, this must be meditation, so therefore as far as it is not happening, you are desperate, but maybe meditation is really healthy development, therefore your interpretation what is happening is colored by your view, colored by your vision, colored by your expectation. So the day you report without any view, any coloration, you are innocent. You are innocent. You can. You can't as far as you are manipulating. You can't as far as you try to be smart. You can't as far as you try to do only the good or no compromising like. So this is a kind of a adamantation you have, and that is what we don't find in children. So whenever you give it to a child, and in Brisbane last time when we are in the retreat, and one lady told that, as I mentioned, that she gave the meditation to the children, and many reported about sitting posture and breath. One child is telling, I can't see breath, I can't see my sitting posture, but I am in the space. Teacher can't understand. And luckily we were discussing, then the teacher told Bhante, you made the matter clear, otherwise I would have seen that girl as something wrong. Because she never think about that. The Kama Loka is not her in the natural mind. And Rupa Loka also, she is already starting with space. Can happen. Because it is not filthy, it is not infested, it is not given to this world the original mind. So when and where you are innocent, you are in paradise. Whenever you try to smart, you eat the apple, the knowledge, then you are deprived. So this whole art, we can say, Tanha in terms of Vedana, Tanha in terms of perception, or simply we can say learning the art of how to become innocent. Learning the art how to become straightforward, not crooked. No, not bending the truth. Report as it happens, it's utterly excusable. But we have a frame in our mind, so we try to live up to that. As far as we try to live up to that, you find so difficult. So Jesus Christ mentioned that as if animal going to go through a needle hole. Camel. Difficult. It's difficult. Because you have so much to assume. So rich person cannot see God, see the truth. As if the camel going to go through a needle hole. So therefore, if you are ready to accept what is happening in the meditation, is utterly in a sequential order. Only thing is your reaction, your assuming, your expectation, your should and should not. So the day they are gone, that means your influence of the perception gone. You accept as it is. So they are Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka, all available. Occasionally you visit them, and it is nothing to earn by meditation. It is in the packet of so-called humanity. Only thing is discriminating, understanding when you are in the Kama Loka, you have no access to the Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka. When you are in Rupa Loka, you have no access to the Kama Loka and Arupa Loka. When you are in the Arupa Loka, you have no access to the Kama Loka, Rupa Loka. So when it go there, don't try to compare it with this and that. That comparison itself, you become deprived. Yena manyati tato tang hoti anyata. If you are going to think about, by thinking itself, you will be pushed away from that state. So therefore, accept it, dwell upon, instead of thinking, or rational thinking or deductive thinking. Experience is already validated. It is already in a sequence, but the expression indicate how twisting, how bending the experience you express. And to end the talk, I would say, when the mind is utterly pure, you can't express. It is beyond language. So as far as we are in halfway, we use the language and try to see things as they are and try to report without interpretation. Then the trip will be easier. That itself, this sentence itself, will not be well understood if I am to speak on the first day of the retreat. Now we have fair amount of background, so therefore I hope the meditation will be more and more straightforward, and your reports will be more and more straightforward, and your mindfulness will make the foresight so that without much of regimentation, you can finish the task as if it is a hobby. Thank you very much for listening.